Hello, hello. Welcome back to SnowRunner on a Friday, no less. Apologies. Yeah. I figured I know I won't be able to stream on Sunday this weekend. So, in an attempt to stick with the twice a weekend or twice a week kind of streak, I thought I'd stream a bit today and tomorrow, Saturday as well, if I can. Where were we? Right, we did the oil rig drill from Smithville to the drill site. We did the big construction thing from the factory to the drill site. And yeah, I made kind of not a mistake necessarily, but I was here at the end of that mission and then I recovered when I could have taken the maintenance trailer at least some parts of the way. But yeah, it's not the end of the world. So we have to take the trailer and 2 vehicle spare parts to the logistics base, which is at the far end. Don't know if I want to start with that. That's this one. It seems to be the only thing we can do, except logging or except tasks in the other 2 maps. So here we still had a bunch of stuff to do. I think I want to start with this just because it's kind of, you know, tasks always feel a bit more like warm-up. So we could do this, maybe. This recovery thing. Another recovery thing. Wood planks. More wood planks. Okay, so I kind of want to take the twin steer out for the first time. But for these rescue missions, it's not really going to be the right choice. And I forget what I have available. Right, I do have this semi-trailer, which I was wanting to keep. But I think for Island Lake I want to have the Royal, not necessarily the White Western. But what we can do, why can I not go to the garage? Oh, because I'm in the garage. We should have the low saddle equipped. So it's tempting to sell this trailer because I have it here right by the store. However, I'm gonna take it back to Smithville Dam Garage. Because it is a bit of money that I don't want to waste. I never put it in the titles, except maybe sometimes. But I'm playing on, or I'm playing with 50% sell prices. That's the only rule, really, like the only New Game Plus rule I have active. But it's kind of an important one. It's tempting to go get that, the maintenance trailer. I am still very curious how difficult it is to go through map is all turned around, to go through here, because that would make it a lot easier to get the trailer instead of always going the longest possible route. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've been told it's rather difficult. But it is on the map, which leads me to believe it has to be doable with at least some form of truck. Probably one that you can find in Michigan. P16, maybe. The Royal isn't technically from Michigan, but it's an off-road truck, so surely it needs to, like, it should be somewhat capable. I might just try that. Take the Royal out and check out that flooded piece of road. I thought high gear would be faster. Just thinking ahead for winter stores. Ideally, I would want a truck with a flatbed for the vehicle parts, which can still take the maintenance trailer. I was thinking too far that I would have to use the Fleet Star, but that isn't strictly necessary, because pretty much any truck can have a flatbed without crane and still take trailers, so there should be options, maybe even the White Western. Although I kinda like it as it is with the low saddle and crane, since it can't take trailers. As it can't take trailers combined with crane and flatbed. I don't think the GMC is a good choice for this, because it's a bit not underpowered, but still a bit under-equipped. Just thinking which trucks I have. The Kodiak doesn't have all-wheel drive yet. I'm mixing things up with my PlayStation save, where I have been playing quite a bit in the last week. Just doing some stuff in Wisconsin. A lot of it with the Freightliner. The one I always forget the model of, 114 SD or something. I think that's what it's called. And there I also unlocked or I didn't unlock technically, but I finally recovered the Pacific 512. Is it 512? I'm not good with model numbers, okay. The one you find in the field. Okay, Smithville. I'm just gonna drop this off at the garage, I think. I always get confused. Because part of me always wants to take the second right. Okay, just coming up on the garage. I'm not gonna go pick up the vehicle parts now because it's not something I want to do in this truck, or, you know, in any semi. Can't reverse in high gear. I don't need to do this, but for the sake of, if you can call this role-playing, that's terrible. Okay. Then yo, chill guy. Good morning. Then I'm assuming you're US based. It's currently 8 p.m. for me. But yeah, I'm good. Thank you for the nice words. I have to think for a sec. No, and I didn't want to retain. So we're going to Island Lake. I will need a scout. No, do I need a scout? I don't think I do. I thought I did for this one, but it's... no. One cargo container. Which I'm not sure I have to pick up manually by crane. It doesn't say you need a crane. Maybe you do. So maybe I should just take the Royal with flatbed and crane. It'll be a bit annoying because I will have to do this in 2 goes. But then again, it's not that far, so yeah. Where is the Royal? Yeah, I'm not gonna make that. Recover and just head out from here. I'm still getting my gates confused. I was planning to go up here to this gate, but I have to go to this one. Which does make me wonder if I should go to Drummond first. I'm terrible at getting my proverbial shit together. I just don't know what to do first, because there's too much to do. Do I have a crane on the Fleet Star? I don't. That's a problem. Because it does kind of make more sense. I think it does, at least, to do Drummond first. I'm wildly overthinking this. Royal, we shall go. Let me just through the swamp. Nope. What did I do? Okay. I tried to remember to plan at least the first few missions I want to do out before I start streaming. Because all this, you know, the logistical side of thinking everything out is just a bit painful to watch, I imagine. And I keep second guessing my decisions, when in the end it really does not matter. especially in this region in Michigan, because it's the first one. Everything is relatively easy still. I never noticed the bird shadows. I hope I'm not putting you to sleep, because it's something I kind of have a habit to do. I wake up when my alarm goes off, or I wake up whenever. And then I feel like staying in bed a bit longer. Might put on a video just to watch and or listen to, and then I just fall right back asleep. Careful with these signs, as always. I could refuel, I'm not going to. Come to think of it, this truck might be kind of overkill for Michigan. It helps a lot for many tasks, because it's a tiny bit overpowered. Like, there are things in Michigan that recommend using an off-road truck, but there are no off-road trucks in Michigan except if you buy one, which you can't always do. I don't think this counts as cheating, because I just got it from the next region for free. Because I knew I wanted to use it, and I knew it was there, and frankly I don't have money. Wow. Frankly I don't have money to buy any trucks. Wait, because I just remembered something. If you put immersive mode on, there is no HUD, and then no. I read that you can use R3. No. I don't know if I'm doing anything wrong, but I read that you can click the right stick in to temporarily show the HUDs. No. No. I feel like there must be a way to like glimpse at the HUD. I prefer to have the clean screen, but I also like to see what gear I'm in and how much fuel I have left at any point. I guess you just can't do that. I know there's a keyboard shortcut, but I don't like to use, I don't like to use a controller and then reach out for a keyboard. Primarily because it's kind of blocked by stuff. I'm pretty sure it does still flash the fuel when you're halfway down, or like at certain levels of emptiness. Like the fuel tanks on the truck should light up a bit. I can cut across. Maybe I should have, because this is surprisingly deep. As a rule, it's generally a good idea to follow where the road should be, if only so you have the telephone poles to winch from. It's just nice to watch. Like, watch how the wheels handle the mud. I never noticed it said Husky scratched on the back of the bed. Don't know if you can see that in the left corner. There is a very good reason why you would take any truck out to Island Lake and just leave it there. There's always such a slog to get from the Smithville garage to this gate. Okay. I guess I am turning the HUD back on. I just want to see if there is like any kind of button to flash the HUD. Functions, player profile, camera. Oh, it is R3, hold to show the HUD. Wait, but now it's... no. Turn immersive mode on. Ooh, okay. That changes everything. Okay, so... not sure why I have these markers here still. Let's do the easiest ones first, or what should be the easiest ones. And this one. So we need to go. I feel like this should be a task. But it's not. I do want to check that out. It's in there, and then just there. Wouldn't mind refueling, which I could do here. But there's a tanker here as well, so no need. No. Just checking if there's a way to enable some parts of the HUD. I'll give it a shot in immersive mode, but I feel like I'm too far gone and I've been using, like, I've been playing with the HUD always visible for too long. To the point where it's kind of hard to adjust. You could argue it's not really worth the trouble of having to click an extra button. I thought I had brighter lights, but I don't. I still have just stock lights. Kind of a silly oversight. Is there a task, or is it just... no, it's just blocked. I assume there will be some kind of mission to build a bridge here. Oh, and that reminds me, by the way. So refuel first. Turn off the engine, because I realized during, when I was checking the previous stream VOD, that I should probably have my webcam lower so you can see the objective tracker. Again, sorry about the loud bike outside. again, a silly oversight. And I'm afraid I can't play without HUD. I wish I could, but it's just... it's too convenient to have it always visible. Yeah, through here and then left. I want to do my very best to not have anything happen to this truck, or any truck. Because if I fall on my back, I will have to drive another truck out here to rescue. The only alternative is to recover to the garage and have to drive all the way out here again, which I absolutely don't want to do. Oh. I was told that honking the horn, is that how you say it? Tooting the horn, that makes trees break faster. It doesn't seem to work. You absolute sausage. Well, apologies for saying that. I've been, or not recently, but I have watched too many Sam Tabor videos. That it kind of got stuck in my head that he says, I mean that he calls himself a sausage when he messes up. At this point it is easier to take the White Western, not the White Western, the Fleet Star. Though I'm not very optimistic that I'll be able to get the Royal back on its feet. I'm really internally a bit upset that happened, because it's always right at the second where you think you have to be careful, and then because you're thinking about being careful, you're not paying attention to the road and bad things happen. Yeah, 'cause I have a way to get lost here. To there, and then from here I should be able to find my way. immediate immediate urge to rush. It's never a good thing, rushing. Spooky eyes in the bushes. Should I take this trailer? No. Especially not when I'm already getting stuck without trailer. Avoid this, because I did get stuck here. Might as well stop to refuel. Hey man, how are you? I am doing pretty good, except for the fact that I just well, I rolled the royal. Sounds like it could be a pun, but it's not. Roiled the royal. Took it from the Smithville garage to Island Lake. Was on my way to get wood planks from that mill place. And just a second of not paying attention and it flipped over. And this was the closest thing I had available. I feel like I took a wrong turn, alright? I went into the shortcut too early. I almost get turned around here. Okay. I know it's not a roundabout, but it kind of feels like one. And I never know which exits I have to take there. And there's probably a shortcut through these woods to avoid this muddy mess. Okay. I'll have to keep an eye on my camera, because I often lose track of when it gets too dark. Yeah, so here, as you can see, that's not the correct way, the correct way up. So, I mean, I don't really need to set markers, but I do. There. Technically, I could maybe try to do this in the Fleet Star. But then if I roll the Fleet Star, I'll have two trucks the wrong way up. So yeah, I should probably try to get the Royal upright first, which I'm not entirely confident the Fleet Star will be able to do, because it's rather tiny. Might end up upside down in the attempt. But hey, let's not be pessimistic. Maybe high gear is a bit too much. Where are you currently in your game? I think I remember you saying you were close to being finished with Alaska, right? On the way to Tamir. I always think this map is smaller than it really is. And I always underestimate how risky it can be. Because it's mostly flat. Not much in the way of elevation, but there are some very treacherous bits of road. Okay. Yeah, been there. In our defense, there is an absurd amount of content in this game. I'm sure there are people who don't play anything else ever, but you know, in the time it takes, struggling with grammar, in the time it takes to finish any standard game or even a long game, you can barely get through Michigan, and then there's 20 more maps, regions. Not 20, 15, I suppose. I was just saying earlier that it's kind of a shame that I can't get used to playing without HUD. Every time I try the immersive HUD where everything is hidden, I still constantly check I click in the right stick to check what gear I'm in, if I have all-wheel drive or diff locks enabled, how much fuel I have left. And ironically, I probably check it more with the HUD off than I do with the HUD visible. I hope I didn't drive past the Royal. It's in the middle of the road, so yeah, just here. How am I gonna do this? I'd say park here so I can use the tree as a leverage. And then try to do it like that. Okay. Not too bad. Oh, I thought the winch would stay connected. Okay. Did I go too far? Because I just needed wood planks, which I guess you can only get from this log station and not from this one, for whatever reason. No, I keep forgetting to track. Bridge the gap, start tracking. And now, slow as you like. I distinctly remember tipping the twin steer here more than once. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily need all-wheel drive, but it's a bit faster. Fast is not always good. I'll have to decide what route to take from here to the drop-off. From what I saw on the map, the shortest path is the way we just came, which evidently is pretty risky. One, two... Maybe I should go down here and around this way. I don't know if that's necessarily much safer, but can't be worse. Okay. Unwarranted shortcut. That tiny bit of corner. I don't know what I just said. Didn't sound right. I shouldn't have to refuel before ending this mission. Completing the mission. What is that red light? Oh, it's like some ruined tower. In hindsight, I kind of regret not taking either a semi-trailer or just a normal flatbed truck with an extra trailer. Something with 6 slots so I could take all 6 wood planks at once. I always forget how tedious Island Lake is. I shall not leave low gear for my own safety. think that was the right call. To go this way instead of taking the same way as where I fell over. I forget if this trailer is part of a mission. So maybe I could sell the trailer I currently have on the White Western back in Smithville, which is the exact same one as the one that was there. Sideboard semi. Maybe I could sell the one I have and just take the White Western out here and use that trailer. Maybe it won't even be necessary. Okay, left. I haven't properly checked out that lumber mill yet. I feel like I should. I'm not sure you can even get there before you fix those two bridges. Just to make sure, yeah. It's so nice in the morning sun. In other gaming news, I bought Little Nightmares 1 and 2. I'm pretty sure I had those, or I'm pretty sure I had the first one either on PlayStation or Switch. But I remember not liking it when I first started playing it. But it's a game I really want to like, and I do like it. It's just a bit annoying sometimes. I don't like having to redo the same small section multiple times. It's probably a skill issue, but, you know. We don't admit to skill issues. 'Tis the law. Yeah, these two next. Hunter Bob. Or as Rowan Atkinson would say, Bob. Does it matter what side I approach from? I'd say no. I'm thinking where I could strategically place a fuel tanker. There is one here, it's kind of weirdly placed, and I'm pretty sure this is part of a mission, which doesn't really matter, but there is a scout thing here. Semi-trailer. This one I could take with the Fleet Star. But then where to put it? Somewhere along this road, perhaps. Do I have to refuel urgently? I am overthinking again. Because after a while, you kind of know where the fuel carriers are, so I don't check the map anymore to know where I need to go to refuel. But then if I put them somewhere else, that can lead to problems. I think I'm gonna briefly do this. Just take that one fuel tanker closest to the gate. And put it somewhere a bit more central. Stuck on a tree. Yeah, it's really fun. Like, I don't know if you've played Limbo or Inside, but it's very much that kind of game, just a different, you know, it is kind of horror-y in vibe. I wouldn't say they're the same game by different developers, but, you know, Little Nightmares is much longer than Limbo or Inside. I'm pretty sure, at least. Definitely longer than Limbo, but I guess that depends on how long it takes you to get through it. Some of the puzzles can be a bit rough for my tiny brain sometimes. I think it's fair to say that Limbo is more of a puzzle game. Inside a bit less so, and Little Nightmares, well, both games are also less puzzle and more just linear horror platform games with some puzzle elements. The one criticism it gets a lot is that the controls are not always very precise, and you know, when you have some kind of escape sequence and the controls don't really respond exactly how you want them to, you miss a jump or whatever, and then you have to redo that checkpoint a few times sometimes, which can be a bit tedious, but I don't think it's a deal breaker. It was a deal breaker when I first tried it, because from what I remember, I got too annoyed by having to redo the same small bit a few times. And likely I also got stubborn and didn't want to look up anything, like how to get through it. I forget if I intentionally just gave up on it or I just oops, or I only took a break from it but never got back to it. But I do recommend them. Maybe not full price. I know it's a bit unfair, but games like that full price are not always worth it to me. Come on. Why is this not breaking? But they're on sale currently on Steam. A bit confusingly so, because the bundle with both full versions of the game is 20 something. But when you buy the enhanced version of the first game, which has all the DLCs as well, that's €5-ish. And the deluxe edition of the second game is also €5-ish. So the bundle comes out at twice the price of both games separately, with the same amount of stuff. I took a wildly wrong turn somewhere. I was planning to go in here, past the tower, to the trailer, and I just went the long way round. It's a bit lame to say maybe, but I feel like the Little Nightmare games are kind of classics at this point, even if I don't, or even if I won't end up loving them as much as I would want to. I still just want to have played through them once. Because they are kind of just small gems. Yeah, I know the feeling. Very random, but I very recently, this week sometime, I was thinking if maybe I wanted to try some kind of realistic snooker game. I used to play snooker pretty often, never in a club or something, just with a buddy at the time. Purely recreationally. And it's the one sport I genuinely stop to watch when it's on TV, which is very rare because we don't have a TV as such. We just stream stuff. And you can stream snooker matches somewhere, I forget where. It's not something I intentionally choose to put on, but when it's on, I do like to watch it. So I started researching, if you can call it that, some snooker games. I forget the names even. World Championship Snooker 19 maybe, or World Snooker, I don't know. Virtual Pool 4 has a snooker mode. I'm pretty sure there's an online one as well, like a... I'm not sure if it's a browser game, but it's not on Steam. You have to go to a website to get it. Very old school. I haven't tried any yet, and there's a chance I won't try any. Because if I think, would I rather have a snooker game that I play once every month or so, or for the same amount of money buy a year pass in SnowRunner? It's a very easy choice. I was thinking somewhere here, but I have to be a bit careful that I don't leave it in the way of other vehicles who want to get through. No, definitely not here, because this is a bit too narrow. I could just put it at the mill, I suppose. And I should turn on the light, maybe. I've said it before, but playing games in the dark is terrible for your eyes, but it does help to hide the mess in the background. Okay, I think somewhere here is probably fine. There should be plenty of space to get through. I most likely won't pass through here anyway, ever. Hello, Jay the Jorky. How are you? Let's just put it behind this post so there's no chance. I mean, there's always a chance, but... So there's less of a chance that I will run into it. Season 11. I've never made it that far. Can you get to there through here? Probably. Probably not worth the risk. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this in a few goes, to be precise. Got planks from here to there. Remind me what season 11 is. Not that it matters, because I'll forget anyway, but I'm curious. Yeah, I know. I was seriously thinking about it, but I knew I needed at least one smaller truck here anyway. The movie sets. Okay. That doesn't necessarily help. I haven't played past season 3 or 4. Also, the twin steer is in the Smithville garage. I couldn't really do much with it as it was. So I just recovered it to put on some upgrades. Lots of road. Sounds rather lovely. But yeah, the twin steer would be useful here if handled carefully. But I don't really like to drive trucks to or from Island Lake because it's kind of an annoying map to get to. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but I don't like the drive through the swamp, and I don't like to go through Drummond just to get to Island Lake. Not so fast. Itchy nose. Not from cocaine. Just sniffles. Is that inappropriate to say if there are younger viewers, which I kinda doubt? It's just two kind of short and relatively easy trips. Could maybe do this one if I'd remember where that scout needs to go. It's basically on the way. This is the Royal BM-17 from Alaska. I feel like I keep mentioning it way too many times, but I went to Alaska real quick because I knew where to find, or I vaguely knew where to find this truck for free. So I just went out to get it and didn't do anything else in Alaska yet. Maybe I won't fully do this, but I can at least try and get the scout out. Can that reach? Yes. Try to not take too much damage. Okay. I think I will leave this at that intersection for now, just to keep my eye on the ball and fix those bridges first. It's probably an overstatement to say the Royal is controversial, but it's not necessarily an obvious choice based on what you read about it, because it can't have diff locks. Just all-wheel drive, which makes it suboptimal according to many people, to which other people would say that the first kind of people just don't know how to drive. Yeah, just leave it here somewhere. Although, it's kind of stupid to not finish this. Taking my eye off the ball. I'm really gonna have to turn on the light in my room soon, because I'm feeling the strain. Yeah, it's cool. I always liked it visually because it's kind of boxy in a fun way. But yeah, again, like I've said too many times, at least in my first playthrough, and I think that's many people's experience, by the time you find this one, you probably already have bought a better off-road truck on paper. I seem to remember, Chill, that you used to use the Paystar quite a bit. It's not a shameless plug, because it's not about me, but Chill Gaming also does a lot of SnowRunner videos, or he has done a lot of SnowRunner videos in any case, which I do recommend. That sounds so disgustingly official. If you like SnowRunner videos, go check out his channel, because he does good stuff. And other games. No, not this one. What are your main games currently, Chill? Because it was just SnowRunner and Factorio from what I've seen, but I'm sure you've done other games as well. Was this the way I came? Yeah, I guess so. Goes to show how much attention I pay to the road. How much I pay attention to the roads. How much road I attention pay to. Right, Skyrim. I know you did a lot of those, but, you know, my attention was caught by SnowRunner mostly. Didn't you do a zero death run in Skyrim? Or am I just making stuff up? I have been thinking, not necessarily because of what you do, but just generally, like I've been thinking of random challenges I could do to make my videos a bit more unique / interesting for everyone involved, but I just kinda... I'm at a loss for ideas with the games I play the most, because there's not that much you can do with them, I feel. You could play SnowRunner with random trucks or like some absurd limitations. Which sounds fun at first, but I just know I would not stick to them when things get too difficult. In session, I'm currently doing a challenge, although it's just part of the game, to play through the whole career on manual catch. As for Cairn, I will finish it. Like, I have a series going, and I will finish it eventually. I am very tempted to try a free solo run where you can't use any safety ropes, and every fall is an instant game over. I know I will regret doing that, or trying that even, but it sounds like fun in a masochistic way. Yeah. It is. I mean, I can't speak from experience, but it's the most difficult game mode. No safety ropes, a much smaller backpack, insta or permadeath. I'm not sure if there are other major limitations. There is some mechanic to kind of compensate a bit for the difficulty, but I don't know exactly how it works, but there are three, maybe more, I think just 3 unbreakable pitons you can find, of which so far I've found 2. But since there are no pitons at all in the free solo mode, those special pitons are replaced by, what's it called? Magic Edelweiss flowers or something, which I think allow you to rewind time or something. Again, no experience, and I'm not exactly sure how it works. It's just an incentive, because in free solo modes you wouldn't have any incentive to do the tricky climbs you have to do to get those unique pitons. So those flowers are the incentive to do those difficult bits. Arguably still not really worth it, in my opinion. I'm gonna turn on the light because it's getting a bit too painful for my eyeballs. Just a sec. Okay. All slouched. Right, so yeah, just one more trip back and forth. And after that, I don't know what I will do, but we will worry about that when the time comes. I thought maybe there might be some more tasks, or at least one more task here. Doesn't seem to be the case. But I am pretty sure there will be some bigger missions here. Looks like the kind of facility you have to get back up and running. All confused, yeah. and I missed a message. Yeah, started Zero Death run, got sidetracked. Maybe I try too hard to not get sidetracked. Which is not always a good thing, because sometimes it's just better to take a break from some games or from a game. I feel like I'm not getting a lot of things done today. Because it's been an hour 42 minutes. And we have done that one scout rescue task. The whatever it's called, that other bridge you need to fix. And now Hunter Bob's bridge. Could still try the cargo thing, like whatever it's called, broken antenna. This one shouldn't be too difficult, but it's a big piece of cargo, so. And then this rescue, which also should be relatively easy. So I think we can do at least all the tasks in Island Lake today. Maybe the contest as well. I'd say that's the ideal outcome. All tasks and contests. Assuming there is just one contest. That's the only one I have in my list. Maybe a bit harsh, but Island Lake and actually also Drummond Island aren't the most fun maps in Michigan. In fact, they're the least fun in my opinion, especially Island Lake. It's just a bit depressing. And Drummond feels a bit cramped. It's hard to say for sure, but it feels like there's a lot of stuff packed in a relatively small map. I said it at the beginning, like at the very beginning, but I'm exceptionally streaming at... What am I even saying? Is exceptionally the right word in this context? Like on rare occasion, I'm streaming on Friday because I know I won't be able to stream on Sunday. So ideally, I would still be able to stream a bit tomorrow. Because on Sunday we're visiting my sister for the birthdays of their 2 daughters, my nieces and my godchild. Whose birthdays were kind of a long time ago. In late January and in March. But, you know, they're busy. I'm not busy, but my wife is, so most of the plans depend on their agendas and less so on mine, because mine is always empty. I didn't check the map, but I think this is still the way past that busted tower. But I should also try and record a bit tomorrow, because I don't have any recorded videos. Which is not a disaster, but, you know. Ideally, I should always have at least 1 or 2 recorded, so I can edit those during the week and publish them whenever they should be published. Did I refuel on the way here? I must have done, because there's no way I would have only used 60 liters. Oh, it was a bit too brusque. I'm falling asleep myself. Not even kidding. And I didn't even do anything today. No work. I never work on Fridays. It's rather nice, at the cost of some income. I went to my therapist, which was pretty productive. Or is productive the right word? Helpful. we talked about my YouTube endeavors in combination with some loss of motivation at my normal job. And I apologize if this is too personal, but I don't mind talking about it. At least not about this specific subject. But she basically encouraged me to keep working on streaming and just YouTube in general. Ideally, some of my musical aspirations, which I put way too little effort in. But to still be mindful of how I feel about my day job. If I really start feeling like I need to do something else, then maybe I should look for something else and not force myself into a burnout, or more likely a bore out. That's pretty much all there is to say about that. I imagine it's not necessarily interesting to hear about my mental problems. Okay, this should be finished, yes. I'm disappointed every time I see the rewards, because I've been playing Wisconsin on PlayStation a few times this week, where the rewards are significantly higher. Just want to scan. There shouldn't be any more contests apart from flaming barrels, which is to take oil barrels, one piece from this log station to there. How would you do that? We know from experience that this bit of road is a bit iffy. So I'd probably want to do exactly the same route, especially now that I've fixed those bridges. Just across here, down through the mill, if this is a mill, across here to there. In 10 minutes. I don't know how much that is. Like, I don't know how fast you would need to go to get gold. But yeah, not now. I think I want to try this first. It seems like the closest thing. So we can't go there, so we have to go across there. Obviously left. And then to there. might want to refuel, which now I could... yeah, I should stop here. Unless I turn around. Does it say how much is left? 76%. There's nothing here, I assume. No. Oh, there is a scout fuel tanker here. A bit sneaky. So yeah, let's stop there on the way. Ooh. Kinda uneven surfaces. Almost 2 hours. Just thinking how much more I have left in me for today. I don't recall seeing any actual big contracts in this map. But I assume it's not just tasks and contests. Contest singular. Surely there has to be something big you have to deliver here. Just this Chevy from there to there. That container thing. Some oil rig drills. Yeah, that's what I suspected. Can't say I'm looking forward to that, but then again, I do like missions where you have to drive a long way. It's just they're always, or they're usually the most therapeutic things to do. I know there isn't like one of those big construction rigs in Drummond Island, which I think you have to take from, well, from Drummond Island, obviously, from the docks there, all the way through Smithfield Dam to Black River. I am looking forward to that one, if that's what you have to do. It's probably the longest drive you have to do at all in Michigan. It's all the way through Drummond from the top right corner to the bottom left. Or is it? No. No, to the top left gate. And then all the way down the windy road in Smithville. Unless you're a crazy person and you take it across the rock bridge, which I'm probably not gonna do. I say crazy person in a loving way. I admire people who have the nerve to do that. I'd probably just go the long way around. Okay, quick refuel. And then yeah, in Black River you still have to go from the gate the long way around to the drilling site. But we established, at least for the last bit from the road to the drill site, we established last time that that's not such a big deal. Okay, pretty much the same as the Scout 800 thing. A little bit stuck. Did you manage to sort out the flipped truck or trailer incident? I guess I have a cooldown on my notification sound for chat messages because it doesn't always play. If you get to Black River you can take the shortcut. You mean the shortcuts through the mill and across the river? Or the one I was talking about, where you approach the drill site from the north. Mill and River, yeah. Yeah. You need a powerful truck. Yeah, I feel like just thinking about it, the P16 would be a bit too big for that shortcut. Probably can do it, but maybe not the best choice. White Western might be obvious. It's pretty much both of the most obvious choices. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, because with the first big rig construction trailer thing, it wouldn't make sense to take that shortcut, because you're coming from completely the opposite side. But still, without your input, I probably would still go the long way around and maybe regret it, but if you can even regret it because it's the easier path, it's just longer. What am I doing? You mean got stuck in that short but rather steep uphill thing? Like just as you leave, or I don't know how to describe it, but the short uphill at the lumber mill. That's the only place I can imagine where you would get stuck. On the crests, yeah. Maybe I explained it badly, but that's the bit I meant. Yeah. This is kinda not great. Then again, I also beached that construction trailer. I don't know if it was the first one or the second one, but I did bottom it out just across the bridge, like when you take the normal route across the bridge to the drilling site. As you get onto the island, there is a very shallow uphill. And I did get it very dramatically stuck there somehow. Come on. Oh, this is so embarrassing. To be fair, it's a very awkward delivery zone in the middle. No, not in the middle, but centered around that puddle. Okay, and then moving swiftly along to this last thing. or second to last thing. Yeah, just one marker, maybe two. I should refuel on the way. Deceptively sticky. There was a post on Reddit today or yesterday where someone asked if there's a way to like have permanently nice weather. Which I guess I can understand. It is much nicer when it's sunny. But rain also has its charm, I think. Yeah, no, not from the Fleet Star. Just have to remember to refuel the Fleet Star before I take it out. I know I will forget. Too far away. I shouldn't run into the problem where I have to reset any trailers because I used too much of the fuel. Last I remember, you need at least 10%. The tankers need to be at least 10% full to count for emissions. If they need to be delivered somewhere for a mission. Also, I found out the other day that I missed an update about the Ford F-750. There was something, I forget what the post was about, but I commented that the F-750 can't use scout trailers, can't attach scout trailers, but apparently it can, as of some fairly recent update, by which I mean sometime in the last year or so. Is that this way? These roads make such weird bends because I was expecting the marker to be that way. and not so far to the right. Now we'll see what the loading situation is here, if there is just an auto load zone, or if there is any craning involved. It didn't say crane required or recommended. Yeah, looks like just a normal load zone, which I might want to reverse into. Beep, beep, beep. Shouldn't all trucks beep when reversing? Yeah. So a crane was not necessary, as it turns out, which would have made it much easier, much safer to drive. Not safer, but you know what I mean. More stable. Pretty often now there are like what sounds like fireworks in the street. My wife keeps telling me that the city is not very safe, so they may well be gunshots, but you know. It's 50-50. I have never felt unsafe in my home, in our home. Apologies if this is not necessarily the most relaxing of subjects, but my wife does often feel unsafe when she's out alone after dark. Especially if she's carrying a lot of expensive camera gear. And she's coming home from one of her wedding shoots. I'm almost never out by myself after dark. Or even with company, because I just don't really go out much. So there isn't enough data to support my claim, if it's a claim. But yeah. Yo. Sudden loss of power. I think I will have time for the contests if I can finish this current mission in one attempt. Should be able to find my way without checking the map. Probably will check, because I'm never sure which turn I need to take. Yeah, not this one. But there is another scout tanker, which I missed. I shouldn't do this now, I'm not going to. There might be another task there, for all I know. Kinda hoping there won't be, because that would throw a throw a wrench into the gears of this stream. Because we probably won't have time to do that one as well. I do not condone throwing wenches. It does kind of feel like an easy mode truck, this. You still have to be careful in some spots, as you always have to do. But generally, I would almost be willing to say that you could do all of Michigan with just this guy. Except for the scout specific things. Careful in this corner. Turn. Was looking a bit banky. Uh-oh. Head for the safety of the trees, so I physically can't roll over. Ideally. Come on. Okay. Should be good. But that could have ended absolutely disastrously. So can this. Luckily, that's within reach. I've never been here, so I have to be extra careful because I don't really know where you need to be careful. So just be careful all the time. Where does that go? Yeah, some rocks. Not a huge issue. Should be clear. Would be pretty devastating to fail now. Okay, nice. Right. Probably nothing up here. I hope I would know by now if there were more missions. I've been all up in this joint. I haven't been here. I don't know what there would be. There is what looks like a repair trailer. Looks like framing, but I don't think this map has any kind of framing spots. So yeah, do I want to take the shorter way down? Not really. Actually, I might switch. Just gonna go check out that fuel tanker just in case there is another task, and then we'll do flaming barrels. It's counterintuitive because I assume flaming barrels will be easier in the Royal, but I kind of feel like trying it in the Fleet Star because we'll have to go kind of fast. I don't know how fast exactly. But the Fleet Star, especially in its current condition without crane, is more stable than the Royal. So maybe we can be a bit more aggressive if necessary. No, it was not up here. I feel like these metal beams should be part of some task. Maybe they're just random cargo. And I just realized 2 hours late that at the end of the previous stream I said I could pick up the repair parts. No, not here. Next one. I could pick up the repair parts for winter stores in Black River town, where there is a semi-trailer which I flipped. I think they were vehicle spare parts that were on there and one load of bricks. But yeah, it's a bit late now. I can still go get those. There might be another purpose for them later, Because now it doesn't really make sense to use those because we're in Smithville Garage. And you can pick up vehicle spare parts right next door, pretty much. Okay, no task. A bit of XP. I knew there were a lot of fuel tankers or fuel trailers in Island Lake, but I forgot exactly how many. Yeah. So down, right, and then left there. I should put extra lights on the Fleet Star and on the Royal for that matter. Because I had them at the garage, but I forgot to install a front bumper or roof lights. And that's not even true because the Fleet Star was parked in Drummond Island, not the garage. But the Royal was at the garage. Just want to check before we get there. This is not a cockpit view thing, is it? No. Not that that would have made it impossible. I just need to mentally prepare for challenges, contests that require a cockpit view. I thought my lights were off, but they were in fact on. Might want to cheat just a bit and skip to daytime. And as always, not to jinx it, but vehicle, no. I forget what I'm supposed to take because I keep getting distracted by the vehicle spare parts in the tracker. But it's flaming barrels, so I assume that's fuel. So I was gonna say that repair parts or spare parts are not the heaviest kind of cargo, so that contest should be relatively easy, but it is in fact fuel. I'm trying to take a mental note which small bits of this particular piece of road are the most difficult or the most sticky. Not that it should matter much. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out. As always, have a good night, and yeah, hope to catch you next time. There should be another SnowRunner stream tomorrow. Not 100% guaranteed, but you can expect one. Okay, let's turn around. Try not to disrupt the gods of SnowRunner physics with those planks. Okay, just for my own sanity, marker, and then marker. What is fallen antenna still? Is that a contract? Hard to say. There's no additional task marker here where we left that container. This is just a loading zone. I assume it will become clear, you know, when it's time to go there again. But yeah, 10 minutes. Right. Oh, are you kidding me? Never, I mean, nowhere does it say you need a crane for this. But then it just plonks down the barrels there. So we are in fact gonna have to do this with the Royal. And I'm assuming I can't load the barrels before I start the contest. It's kind of annoying. I should have dragged that trailer down to the road so I can refuel now. Or I can take some fuel from the Fleet Star. I'd like to go forwards. Yeah. I forgot about it when I started. And then my first thought that I would have to load them in that other load zone. But I guess not. It's not a huge loss, I suppose. It's just a bit of a time waste. I was feeling better about doing that contest in the Fleet Star. I guess I just confirmed it for myself. Like that thing when you can't really decide between two things, and only when one of those things, you know, isn't possible after all, then you realize that's the one you wanted to do. A stupid example, but when you want to, I don't know, when you want to have two colors of controller and you can't decide, and then one is out of stock, and then you really want the one that's out of stock. It's bad enough that you have to manually load at all. It's extra bad because then I'll... Like, not that that much can go wrong loading one thing manually, but it will take 30 seconds to a minute. Which should still be plenty. 9 minutes to get from there to the finish. Looked like a UFO for a second, that light. Is it in here? No. Next one. Or up here if I want to refuel. Might as well. You can load it and start again. Right. Yeah, I'll have to try and be prepared that it will respawn. Oops. Trucks in this game always look massive compared to the buildings. Like, I never really pay attention to it when I'm out in the wilderness, but then you're parked next to a house and the truck is as big as the house, literally. Refuel. Oh, it was a bit bouncy. So as it turned out, you know, contradicting what I said earlier, it is a good thing that I left the crane on the Royal. I wasn't sure if it would be necessary for the cargo container thing, which for that mission wasn't necessary, but now it is. Did I miss my exit? No. I feel like it should say in the mission description that you need a crane for that contest. It's kind of a dick move that it doesn't say. Because there was no option. Unless I really wasn't paying attention. I don't think it gave me the choice to load on the truck or on the ground. I want to put it in auto gear just to get there faster. Speed is the devil's work. At least high gear. Doing a good job messing up the road surface just before the contests. A pro move. Shouldn't have to refuel now, I reckon. And I left my truck on, the Fleet Star. Okay. Once again. Pulled up too close to that shed. Right, let's see if this works. Crane, anchor. Preferably, I don't know if it matters in terms of weight distribution, but I feel like it makes more sense to have it at the front. Very randomly, I just want to check. If you turn this off, you can still turn it on, I assume. But I always turn it off right away. Oh no. Right, then maybe just leave it on. Because now you can still hide the controls, which does effectively the same thing. Restore pack. Or maybe it counts the packing, like, I don't know. We'll have to find out. Now I'm gonna switch to daytime because I'm a chicken. I am curious. It shouldn't matter, right? This is very stupid. I don't want to risk. I did a terrible job parking. I don't want to risk not having the right barrels carrying twice as much cargo. It's not ideal. The fine line between speed and balance. No, high gear does not work. Is it stupid to do this in high gear? It's only stupid if it doesn't work and if we actually fall over. Low gear through here. No, don't completely stop. Keep the momentum, etc. Three minutes. Cautiously optimistic. I think from here on out the road is better all around. I think high gear is fine. I don't want to go in automatic. Although it's tempting. No. I chickened out. Not even halfway in time, and I'd say well over halfway in distance. Glad I fixed that bridge, because otherwise it should still have been doable. The slightly longer way around. But I seem to remember that last bit up to the drop zone is a bit muddy. Okay, low plus. This is not ideal. Back to high gear. Whoa. I'm risking the best shortcut ever. Three and a half minutes left. I don't know if I'll have to unload manually as well. Yeah, this is the bit I remembered correctly. I feel like there is a shorter way where you don't have to get through this. Way too much power. Please don't make me manually unload. Okay, nice. It's always way more stressful than it should be. Because yes, there are some very nasty contests much later on. Although I don't remember any of the Drummond Island ones, but you know, after Michigan there are a few genuinely difficult contests. But these ones were all fine. Just gonna remove this guy. Okay. There was a jumble of sounds that were not words. I might as well remove this because I don't think it's needed for anything else. What's on that trailer? Beams and 2 concrete blocks. Interesting. Okay, with that, the tasks menu is completely empty. Again, I'm going to assume that I didn't miss any tasks, and if I did, you know, we'll do those when needed. I do have to just go around here because it kind of bothers me that it's still grayed out and there is a trailer here which I might want to sell. If not now, then at least by the time we finish Michigan. So logically, next time, hopefully tomorrow, we can do some tasks here. I don't know if these 3 are everything. That's this scout. Have to get out of here somehow. I forget how I did this. The only way I can think of is up here. Probably not the long way around because there's not really any point. It's through here, up there, there. Seems easy enough. Cousin Cletus is these two barrels with a crane. This will probably require a heavy crane, maybe. Maybe not, I don't know. Depends how close to the edge you can park, I suppose. Probably here. I don't know. And lost delivery is these three special container things. Yeah, it'll take some planning, but you know, famous last words, how hard can it be? Aren't there any contests in Drummond? This silent observer, I don't even know what that is. And forged by the sea, those are contests for sure. No, are they contests? And tourist attraction? Okay, I'm missing a lot of stuff still. But after that, we'll be done with tasks. I'm hoping I could do all of this stuff in Drummond Island in one stream, hopefully. Might be a tall order. 'Cause it's 3 tasks. These 3 flag things, whatever they are. Lighthouse keeper, I don't even know. It's probably something from here, but I've been through here, so surely I should have had it on the list if it was a task. Kind of confused by that. And then it's just all the big stuff still to do. Winter stores. That's a very big mission. Yeah. Safe to say that's when the real work starts, after you do all the tasks. Oh, okay. Good tip. Out the old complete harbor delivery. And this requires complete instruments of development. And this requires lumber mill revival and power lines. So these two. This requires winter stores, and so does this. So yeah, winter stores, then these two, then these 3, etc. Out with the old, out with the old. Yeah, there is some order to it. Where is my player profile? Tasks. Corporate expansion. Island Lake. Okay. I'm assuming that's gonna unlock after we do some contract, because it must be that bridge we were at earlier, but there was no task marker yet. Tough negotiations, probably same deal. Cletus mud wrestling, lost delivery, and forged by the sea. By that ship. So that's it's gonna be here. Yeah, I don't have fond memories. Assuming there is only one thing to do here, and it's only part of that mission or task. That's not gonna be a fun one. So yeah, unlikely we will get all of this done in one stream, but that's fine, I suppose. No rush. We'll be here for years, if I, like literally years, if I want to get through all the stuff in this game at some point on stream. It's very ambitious, but that's the end goal. Might be a task here. Maybe. I don't know, doesn't matter. That's gonna do it for this one, I think. 3 hours and 9 minutes is a good time, I reckon. So yeah, thank you for hanging out, as always, and for the moral support and tips. If I stream tomorrow, I'm not exactly sure when that would be. Would depend. I don't know if we have stuff to do during the day. Like I said, I would like to record a few videos, if possible. So either it's going to be the normal time, like afternoon sometime. Oops, mic bump. Or it's going to be later in the evening, like today. That's as specific as I can be. But yeah, hope to see you then. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for thinking it was a good stream. And yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.